Welcome to Local Business Spotlight, everyone. I'm Troy Thompson. Joining me today is Morgan Hill from Hill and Hill Financials, and we're talking about a topic that, look, a lot of people don't like to talk about, and we're talking about wills and estates.
You bet.
Right?
Yeah.
It's not something that is always at the top of mind, but if you've got a little bit of money in the bank,
Yeah.
if you've got some investments, if you have a home, you really should be updating your will, right?
Well, you know what, Troy, you bring up a great topic. And when we think about estate plan, I guess the first thing I want our listening audience to know is the term estate plan is not for people of certain economic status.
Correct.
It's for people that you love more than the federal government, that you either want to help you with your stuff when you're done with it, or help you if you can't yourself. And so what we have discovered as we do this work is there are more dimensions to an estate plan than just I have a will or I don't have a will.
Okay.
And that's the key.
Proper estate planning. What's involved?
Well, what's involved is really three key areas.
Yep.
One, if you go through probate, and that's a deeper conversation,
Yes.
you have to have certain documents in place, things like wills and powers of attorney and those kinds of things, because probate covers you when you pass, but if you can't function and you're very much alive. Number two are things like joint ownership. If you have a bank account with a spouse or someone joint with rights of survivorship, so things that pass through operation of law. And then finally you have contracts. And most people go, I don't know that I have a contract. Life insurance policies, annuities, IRAs, anywhere you've got a named person, that's a contract. And so what we do is we make sure that all three legs of the stool are addressed versus I have a will, I have a plan. I have a will, I have part of a plan, and so we make sure that all three of those areas are properly addressed.
Well, and I think this sort of answers my next question. Everyone really needs one, don't they?
Well, everyone needs a plan to make sure that those they love get their stuff.
Yeah.
The notion, see, what often happens is the, you hear maybe on other radio shows or whatnot, the focus is on the tool. You need a trust, or you need a this or a that. Well, having proper naming of people on a form has nothing to do with the will. Having joint ownership or titling on a house has nothing to do with these other things. So it's making sure that we have all three components addressed. And sometimes a will is perfectly sufficient. Sometimes people might need something a little bit more detailed, things like trusts, if they have property in different states and estates of a certain size. And that's how you want to look at it.
Okay, well, what's important when it comes to naming beneficiaries?
The first is to name them. You would be surprised, Troy, the number of folks where we do the work and they forgot to name people. They meant to.
Oh my
They were
gosh.
going to name, or they maybe only name what's called the primary beneficiary. Someone passes away, there's divorce, and they go, I meant to redo it, just got away from me. And or there's no backup, there's no succession. And that can become a big problem. So we just encourage folks to name them and to monitor them, and finally to keep copies. Because people, oh, well, that company has it for me, they've got my best interest. It's very important to keep good records yourself so that you know where your assets go.
Well, the most important thing is who's responsible for keeping track of all of this
Well,
paperwork?
the paperwork on the beneficiaries, the burden falls on the individual. And as we work with our folks, that's part of our estate planning area of our practice, is we make sure, do you have documents? We actually give them tools and resources to organize them, rather than I sent them off and I hope that the company keeps good records, because with all, companies get bought, they get sold, they transfer, and people think, well, I thought they kept a good record of this, and unfortunately they don't. So the burden is not only on the individual or the family, but we also at Hill & Hill give them tools and resources to keep that organization in good shape, and we monitor it yearly to make sure the plan is in place.
Morgan, thank you so much.
Always a pleasure. Thank you, Troy.
If you want to find out more information about Morgan and Hill Financials, there it all is up on the screen for you. Give them a buzz. Back after this short break.